I hope I'm doing a good job describing it, because it wasn't a disempowering moment. It was a very much empowering moment. And I think it was the first time that I felt like I got my power back from this thing.
Interesting.
I got to a place where this wasn't like affecting me as much. And I think, it didn't have as much trigger to it. It's still, it was rough, but it didn't have as much trigger to it. Like, this was the first time that it was like, oh, I'm in control here. I took my power back in that moment, and it was so healing.
We'll make it out and fall in love tonight. Ain't nothing
Fantastic. Today we're talking about, I'm really excited. Are you excited?
I'm so excited. Tell me, what are we going to win today? What are we excited about?
We're so excited to be chatting today. Today we're talking about time traveling, just a small little subject, nothing too major, right?
Yeah, we're not talking about Terminator time traveling.
Maybe. You don't know. Maybe it is Terminator time traveling.
Maybe
Maybe that's exactly what Terminator was trying to do. You don't know. Maybe. Right?
Maybe. After we have this conversation, you'll be like, now, how did they get there?
We have this really cool concept that we came up with. And we say we came up with it. How long have we been thinking about this stuff this way?
I didn't think of it as time traveling, but the connection that we've had has been years.
Right.
Years. And it was kind of like, it was a hard one for us to buy at first, because we're like, oh, wait, no, it can't be us.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, but we started piecing it together. So it's been in our space for years. It's been in our space
for a really long time.
And now we're hearing other people speak to it with a name.
So this concept and idea is something that we have both implemented like in our own personal healing journey as well as with each other. It's something that we talk about all the time. It's something that we are very actively not just like aware of, but believers in, right? It's something that we definitely sign up for and agree with. We subscribe 100%. So the idea, do you want to explain the idea?
Sure. I'll do my best here. Here we go. Here's the idea explainer. So the idea is, well, I don't know. I feel like I'll be so long-winded. Okay, short version.
It's a podcast. We can be long-winded.
I know, but
you don't have to slow down.
Here we go. I know, but I want you to be able to talk too.
Go ahead.
I feel like I could fill the whole hour or however. So
we're talking about time traveling.
So the theory is, and it is a theory, but for you and I, it's something that we have experienced and feels like a belief to us. But the theory is it's an emotional time travel. It's a healing time travel of being in a place in your life where you're experiencing something very difficult and feeling comfort from something come into your space. Something comes into your space, a thought, a feeling, maybe a visual, just like something happens in that space and you're receiving some sort of comfort and love or message. And then later on, having connection to yourself in that space, but from the other perspective, and then realizing that was you from this point, from the healing that you have, the growth that you have, where you're at in the world now, being able to reconnect in that inner child healing part, where you've connected with that part and you've shown up for them and giving them that love. And so then you're like, oh, and then it comes to that it was an emotionally healing time travel, because where you received the help and connecting to where you are at the future point of giving that help. And then the whole picture becomes clear.
Yeah, and like we said, that I don't remember when we first started thinking about things this way or working with things in this context, but it made so much sense to us where there's like the way that I like to think about it and describe it. Let us know too if this relates at all and you can connect to this.
Something like that. We're going to tell stories too.
Right.
Are we? Are we both?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Because
I have stories to tell.
A lot of the work that we've done individually as well as together is a lot of like deep shadow work and inner child healing. And there are so many times along the way where it really felt like those spots in time where we were like unpacking deep core wounds, especially like inner child stuff, where it felt like we had a real core memory of an experience. Like I remember very clearly like times being in my room when I was little, really suffering and in pain and stuck and all of these kind of things. And then having a sensation or a feeling like everything was going to be okay, or, you know, like something shifts and changes in the moment. And then later on, remembering that experience or reliving that experience or reparenting myself through that experience. And then again, like you were just saying, putting the pieces together and realizing, wait a minute. the person that was coming back in that spot and in that moment was really the healed version of myself today where I'm at.
Yeah.
And we thought that this was just like an us thing that we kind of talked about.
Yeah, because we didn't hear anybody else talk about it in this way.
Yeah.
And so it's not like, we just like, we hadn't heard anybody else mention it. And so it was like it's something that we had connection to.
And we were listening to a podcast recently. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up because I saved it. Saved it in a really convenient spot.
It's easy to find.
And it was Mind Be Alex podcast. I don't remember what episode it was, but Dr. Julia Mossbridge was on, and she's the founder of the Mossbridge Institute and creator of the Tilt Institute for Love and Time. And
It's 2 parts, right?
yeah, I think so.
I think it's a
two-part
two-part.
episode. But she specifically talks about this exact thing that we're just describing right now, this dynamic, and explains it through the lens of time travel therapy, where the healed version of you today is the version that's going back in time, sitting with those parts of yourself.
And we were like,
Right? When she started talking about it, we were like, hold on a minute.
what?
Hold on a minute. Is this lady
Right?
reading our mind?
It was so cool. Like, oh my gosh, the first time. And like, I've had an experience really recently that kind of solidified all of this. And I was talking to you about it. And
Hold on. I love myself in the chat down there. I've heard of this, but never practiced this. Is this something that can be done now for the past?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to
Yes,
talk.
yes,
We're
yes,
going to
yes.
share a lot of experiences that we've had individually. And then please let us know if you've got some in the chat as well. But go ahead.
There's, when I was telling you about the experience that I had recently with this, you were like, you've got to listen to this podcast because you had heard it and you were talking to me. You're like, this is a really good podcast. And then I shared that, which the synchronicity of it.
Right. You had
was-
something that day.
Yeah. And you were like,
That's
you
right.
have to listen to this
You
podcast.
had one of these moments the same day. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
And it's like the first one that I can remember was, I know there's more because the one that I had when I listened to this podcast that was like that day that I talked to you about it, went back to where being really little. So it's like,
How little would you say?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was multiple, it was different times.
Okay.
So it was like, it was talking about the dissociation parts and having awareness of like you grabbing yourself. Like it was intense. We'll get to that part. But the first one that I had awareness of that really surprised me is it was in a really difficult spot. It was about 10 years ago. And it was in a really, it was 10 years ago. And it was incredibly, I was like having a nervous breakdown. It was incredibly intense. And I got an audible message and it was like really strong.
I forgot about this.
Yeah. And I was just like, okay. And it was like the decision, it like helped me move forward on what do I do at this point with this incredibly difficult moment where I'm falling apart and like I have a choice to make. What choice do I make? It helped me in the choice because I had this audible message. And
Do you
I was
remember
like,
the message? You don't have to share it if you don't want to. Sometimes these messages that come through are so specific.
it was a little intense. So yeah, like it was at the time it was like
Ocean, it's good to see you again. Go ahead.
yeah, we'll just continue on for this point. But it was the realization of it's funny because oh my goodness, I'm getting so nervous talking about it. It's because I'm talking about a very traumatic time and trying to not get into the details of the traumatic time because that's not what this is about. And so it's like it's kind of rocking me as I'm working my way around it here, but doing my best with that space. So the audible message was like, you're going to be all right, basically. Here's a sum it up. You're going to be all right, basically, but it only works if you're together. So like, you're going to be okay, but this only works if you're together. So it was like that thing of like, oh, stay in this space. To stay here, you need to like keep moving forward here. Like, even if you don't, it's okay. You're going to be fine. You're going to be just fine. But this only works if you stay together. And so like I went with that space. And years later, I started tapping into that moment of when that came up. But it was through this like place of where I'd done all this healing and this work in this space. And I'm seeing like the growth. I'm seeing what's unfolding in this space. So I connected to that moment, and it made me realize like, oh, like I was so connected to that moment that I was with myself at that point. And it dawned on me, like the message came. So as I was remembering the message that I got, I was like, oh, say it now. And so I could say it. And I'm like, oh, and this is when I heard it. And so it's just this whole thing. And I would get that a lot. I would come up and I'd be reconnected to that moment. So it was like, here's this moment. And I got one single message. But the way it, like the time travel-ish, like we'll look at it, we'll call it that because that makes sense. What else would it be in a sense without a, hot tub, time machine kind of thing? Right. But it was like different moments that were tied in because I got it here and I connected in and I sent the message. And then here I got it later on and then I sent the message and I connected to it here and I sent the message. And I think that because there was so many points of where I connected to that moment so strong and we're like, this is where I send the message. And when I would do it, because I knew I was connected to that point, it was full of intention. I was like sending the message. And I think because of all those different times with all that strong intention and knowing, I was tapping on my mic. Hopefully that didn't mess it up too bad. I think that's why it came through audibly, because there was so much energy from so many different points of time of connecting to it that brings me back to that moment of why I got it audibly. And that was the first time that I had connection that it was like, oh, wait a minute. I think that was.
I think there's a chance that I was my own.
That I was, and I'm not saying that we don't have guides and like I don't believe that. I believe very much we have guides, and I believe that we have people helping us and spirits helping us. I believe that we have a team with us, and I think we're a part of that team.
Yeah,
I think we're a big part of that team. So that's how it started. That's my first, like
I love
this
myself
is helping.
mentions that. I remember seeing your content before. It helped me get through a difficult breakup.
Oh,
We're so grateful for that. That's so awesome.
That we were able to help you in that space.
Yeah, not the breakup part, not the difficult part. But we're happy that there was some help there.
About being safe to make mistakes. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of the first time I think I experienced it.
A space. Ocean says it's a safe space sending you comfort. Right?
So yeah, it was like just this concept and idea that
like, maybe, and if you have one,
maybe there's a chance that when you're the version of yourself today and you have a memory from the past, like this is another way to kind of look at it if you're having a hard time connecting with it. Like as soon as you have the memory and the experience and you're able to sit in that space and process it and almost see it in a different way, those are kind of the moments where you're going back and you're offering help and support. And you can do it in a very conscious way. Like once we brought awareness to this, now it's the thing that we do consciously. Like we are actively, I recognize it.
Going back to those points consciously, absolutely.
Well, not
but
even
I
that,
don't
but like,
I can go back to those points consciously and do that. But when I have awareness of this is actually the time travel parts, I haven't been able to do that consciously, even though I consciously go do inner child work, even though I consciously go back to their spots. There's only a handful of times where it has been like, that, here it is. Can you do that? And you can do that consciously right now?
Well, it's like every time I find myself in the space where I am connected to a previous version of myself, especially during difficult times. Like I'm talking about some of the really dark times when you're like really alone and things are really like at the bottom and you're like, how am I going to get through this moment? When it's those moments, those are the ones. Strength to even want to. Those are the moments where I consciously bring forth all the love that I have in this present moment in order to
I know what you're saying.
Show up for that version of myself in the moment that they're going through.
Yes.
And I know that in the process of doing that, those moments, like those tough spots where I needed help, but I felt like I was alone. And then again, I can remember so many different ones where it was like, I'm trying to think if I've gotten messages clear like that before, but I don't know if I've had the time travel effect with the messages, but just the knowingness that it's like the me version today going back and helping that version in the past.
Yes, absolutely. I connect with that. And so much so, in fact, I'm having a difficult day today. I've got some things in my space that are like causing like quite a bit of fears coming up in me. And I was sitting there for a little bit and I was like, I was looking for the message, you know? I'm like looking for the comfort. I'm like, I bet future me is sending me a lot of love right now. What's the, and maybe it was just that, the like looking, like I know to look for that now. I'm like, oh, I bet I'm receiving some kind of comfort, help, guidance, support in this moment. Cause in this moment, I'm really afraid. And that was a new one to be like, oh, I know, like I'm scared right now. So I know in the future
You're
from
gonna be
the
sending.
linear thing, I know I'm reaching back right now. So like, where is it? What am I doing? Maybe it was taking the lid off the tea. I'm just kidding. You know, but it's just that thing of like having awareness that I probably got my back right now.
Yeah, it really makes me think about how
It's kind of
small.
cool. Like I just want to sit with that. Like I felt it in a moment, but to say it out loud, I'm feeling it more. Like I was like, oh yeah. Like I kind of was like, you know, I had awareness of it, but I just spoke it.
I love that.
It's sitting different in my body now. And like it feels really good. Like it feels like a really big hug and some deep love. Just like, oh, it's just like the awareness of I trust myself enough now in the space to know that I've got my back. Like I'm sending me some love right now. And it was just interesting. I just felt it. So
Does it feel good?
it feels really good.
I know you're in your feels all
I
around
am
it.
in my feels. I might start crying.
I like the idea too, from that lens and perspective of like, it helps me in the present moment too. Like you were just talking about, where when I'm really stuck in present moment things that I'm really struggling with, that I don't get as dark as I used to. And what I mean by that, I mean, it's the healing is much easier today than it has been in the past, even though we still heal through like really, really big things. But when I'm stuck in it today, I do rely upon the knowingness that I can just ask for help and I'll receive that help. And it will come through this lens sometimes of what we're talking about, this little time travel thing where it's my highest self coming back and helping me from whatever version of existence it exists in at the time, right? Through space and time. I just think it's so trippy.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's so beautiful and so trippy. And it makes me think a lot about like, not just collective consciousness and the way that we're all one and all of those kind of things. Cause that's the other thing too, is it's like, even when you're having some other experience that feels like a guardian angel or a guide or something like that, I mean, it's still just all the same infinite, endless source of love.
Z8 says, thank you for that insight. Just tried it and it helped.
Oh, that's so awesome, Z8. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
So cool. Let us know if anybody else can relate to that in the chat, if that's something that you've either experienced yourself or even heard of again. If
you're interested in it, like I just heard Joss Stone. That's not it. What's her name? I heard
Dr. Julia Mossbridge.
Julia Mossbridge.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to try to get her on the podcast too, because it's one of those things that I feel like would be really
would love to
interesting
talk
to
to
break
Julia
down and
Mossbridge.
understand even more from. I think she's even got like an app built for it. Like
She does. I heard her talking like, I wanted to look at some of her stuff.
yeah, like it's she calls it time travel therapy, and it feels like something that she's building out into a thing like a new or already, I don't know.
Yeah, let's find out.
Bring
Let's
her
get her
on
on
the
the podcast and find all of this out.
And find out.
Yeah, because it's interesting. It's really interesting.
I like the idea that it's, I mean, just think about how hard healing is and the idea that you're the one helping yourself through it all. And we hear that adage all the time too, where, you know, I finally realized that I was like the healed version of me today. Like I'm the hero that went back and rescued myself. I'm the one that showed up. It's the same kind of concept and idea, but I think she takes it we take it much more direct and literal too, where it's not just a warm, fuzzy feeling that makes us feel good.
Even though I just got a warm fuzzy.
I think it's very much the truth of what's actually happening, the reality of it.
Yeah, I do too. The last one I had I was talking to you about that you were like, you've got to listen to this podcast. It was, I'm over here. I'm like, gosh, I sound really doom and gloom. No, but I have down moments, and that there's certain things. This one was it was an interesting, intense, it was a date recap of when something really bad happened. And I was just surprised as it came up, because it hasn't been as strong the last like while, you know. Anyways, it came up in this space, and I had direct connection to it. And it was like from this it was this, I wasn't in it, like experiencing it, but it was very much how do you say, I'm the one that came back and saved me?
Yeah.
It was the space of,
Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Woolly.
here's the thing. When you live in the South and you're dealing with humidity, hot flashes, or just the heat in general, you need clothes that don't fight you.
Woolly makes everyday gear from natural merino wool, and it's the real deal. Moisture wicking, temperature regulating, breathable, and soft.
I'm wearing something woolly every day.
Me too. Their boxers, tees, and tank tops are basically my everyday uniform.
Their underwear, tees, all of it. Lightweight, breathable, no microplastics, just comfort and calm.
Plus, Woolly's clothing is biodegradable, renewable, and certified by the Responsible Wool Standard. So it's good for your body and for the planet.
Even their packaging is recyclable. I mean, come on, they thought of everything.
If you're ready to ditch all of those clothes made from synthetic fibers that are clingy and uncomfortable,
Head over to woolly.clothing/Steph and Craig and be sure to enter code Steph and Craig to save 15%.
Woolly, soft on your skin, great for the planet, and officially approved by us for sticky, uncomfortable Tennessee summers. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Making Happy Couples. They've created a whole line of games and card decks designed to help couples reconnect, communicate better, and have more fun together. Their card game, Why Don't We Talk for Hours, is perfect for this.
It's a deck full of thoughtful questions that start off light and go deeper as you go.
We've been together for over a decade, but date night is still really important to us. That's why their game, Why Don't We Date, makes it super easy and fun.
It's a scratch-off deck full of creative, easy-to-start date ideas.
You pick a theme based on your vibe, your time, and your budget, and then scratch off the card and let the adventure begin.
And never underestimate the power of laughter. Why Don't We Laugh Together is all about keeping things playful and fun while building connection and easing stress one laugh at a time.
Bring in some spark, laughter, and deeper connection back into your relationship with Making Happy Couples.
And you can save 10% with code Steph and Craig when you head over to makinghappycouples.com/Steph and Craig. Remember, use code Steph and Craig to save 10%.
Get curious, get playful, and make your relationship a happy one together with Making Happy Couples.
Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Our Ritual.
We're big believers in therapy. It's something that helped save our relationship, but not only couples therapy, also individual therapy.
And we believe support should be inclusive and much easier to access than it usually is. That's why we're excited to team up with Our Ritual.
They've come up with a modern approach to couples therapy that actually fits into your life.
You get expert-led sessions and self-guided support all through a private, easy-to-use app that you can access anytime.
If your partner's not quite ready, you can also start without them. It's adaptable no matter what your situation is.
Inside the app, you'll find exercises, educational content, and grounded pathways based on your goals.
And the results are real and science-backed. After just 4 weeks, 91% of users report improvements in their relationships.
Most feel more hopeful, and almost all feel less anxious about the challenges that they're facing.
So if you're feeling stuck, disconnected, or just want a way to feel more supported,
Click the link in the description below and use code Steph and Craig 20 to get 20% off of your first month with Our Ritual. Our Ritual. When you're ready to take that first step, they'll be there waiting to walk it with you. Like command, in a sense. It was a space of like, oh, I showed up in that space. And as I was talking to myself that was in this, going through this, and I dissociated in that part because that's a protective mechanism. That's what our bodies do when we're in a traumatic event, a traumatic experience. And I had complete control of it from this end. And it was just like being in the space of like, you don't have to feel this. I've got this. I can take this now. I know how to be in this space. I can hold this for you. I've got you. And so it was like the connecting of when we dissociate, how we go someplace else and something else in that space. But it was very much where I was in that moment, because I wasn't a victim to that moment. I had me in that moment. I was the protection that I needed. I was the protection. I needed to be protected in that moment. I needed to be saved in that moment. And like there wasn't anybody coming. And so I dissociated, but what that was me going and getting me and pulling me out of that space. So there was that dissociation, because yes, I still experienced it. Yes, I had like a lot of, I can't think of the words, like fallouts, like when you go through something, you know, I had a lot of fallout. I made a lot of choices.
Yeah.
And it was even with that, with those choices, I was like talking to myself through that. I'm like, you're going to make, you know, like, you get through this, you're going to make some choices because you're learning how to heal yourself. You're learning how to take your power back, and it's all okay. And you do it and you get through this. So it was just like this really affirming, loving of myself for all these actions and choices that I made after this event, and realizing how much of a self-love and an action it was. And just that being present to being the reason there was dissociation, like rescuing me in that sense. And I hope I'm doing a good job describing it, because it wasn't a disempowering moment. It was a very much empowering moment. And I think it was the first time that I felt like I got my power back from this thing. I got to a place where this wasn't like affecting me as much. And I think, you know, it didn't have as much trigger to it. It's still, you know, it was rough, but it didn't have as much trigger to it. But this was the first time that it was like, oh, I'm in control here. I took my power back in that moment, and it was so healing. And there was this moment of integration where it was with myself. And I don't know if all of this goes, maybe it's going to get a little woo. So like, stay with me on this, all right, or not. This is how it showed up for me in this space. But I was holding onto my hands, and it felt very tunnely, very, like when you're going on I don't know how to describe it unless you have these really deep meditations where you feel the pulls.
I think people can experience that. I think a lot of people have had that experience where it's like it's a sensation where it feels like you're being pulled out of your body, or pulled through something, or pulled to something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm so nervous on this part. It's just because it's a real vulnerable spot. But I was holding on, and I was seeing it, because, you know, you get the visuals. And so it's like the Star Wars, the tunnel, the different things, all the ways they make it look in movies. And it's all these different ways and more. And I was holding on, and there was this point of like pulling through, and the flip and the integration of that person, that version that's been dissociated, embodied within myself. It was like holding on from this time to this time, and brought it into presence, into where I was, into myself. It was like this healing that could only be done from going back, from being the person that was like having full awareness of this time jump, this quantum jump, to be able to grab this person. And then the visual just kept on. It gets really woo, but just that experience. And then it was like the next day I had a similar one, because throughout the years that this has been from this event, it's just been years. And it was always just the day, you know, just the day is where I had it. And afterwards I was like, oh God, I got through this day. But integrating that person, that version, recognizing that dissociation and that time travel of me being the one that was there in that moment that I couldn't connect to until I made it to where I was now. It had to happen where I was at this time. So it's not like a rush. It's, you are where you are, and that's where it happens. But with that, then it was the next day, and that was the person, that's where the abandonment came in. Because everything that happened after, like the next day, trying to, like, what do I do now? What happens now? Who am I now? What is now? What is anything? Like, I had no connection to that part. And being able to be like, oh, I'm still here. I'm here for you in this part. And actively from here, working with that version of me that had to go on. And she was where the abandonment came in all this space. So it's still an ongoing process, but it's so deep in this space. It's so deep. And I have to be, here I am now, 45, going back to this little kid me, you know, well, this teenager me on this one. And so that's the most recent one. And it's just this ongoing walk of time travel. It sounds so crazy, but it's not crazy. And to hear somebody say, oh, this is a thing. This is a real thing. This is what we're calling it. This is what you're doing. And there's a way that you can continue to do this intentionally, is like, it feels amazing because you're not only are you taking your power back, are you healing yourself? Are you showing up? Are you making real changes? But then something that feels so crazy to have somebody say like, you're not crazy. You're not crazy. You're like, this is really amazing and helpful and you've got this and keep going. And I can show you how to keep doing it. Like,
It's so cool.
it's so cool. It's so cool. Can I have my tea back? Thank you for holding it.
I
very talk with my
your
hands.
and I was
and
like,
I took the lid off.
the tea's going to go all over
I
here
turned my
in a
god,
minute.
doing.
I have another question for you. It's kind of, I mean, it's not really on the same topic, but it's in a similar space.
Okay.
So a lot of what I've been thinking a lot about, because it's like an and existence, right? So there's never a singular reason for something to happen or take place.
Yes, and.
And so one of the ands that I've been really processing and thinking about is, and we talked about this too, where the dissociation that takes place in childhood in order to survive trauma, during that dissociation, you're detached from your physical body, just like you would be in an out-of-body experience to some extent, right? And also depending upon the severity of the experience or the trauma or whatever it is that you're going through, sometimes you might be really detached and really dissociated in order to survive. And in that space, when you're detached, no matter what, like various phases of life, times of life, and everything like that, you're receiving information through source, through unconditional love, through whatever we want to think of it or call it, that you then get access to later on in life when you go back and recollect that part that was hurt during the traumatic experience through shadow work and through inner child healing. And then the reintegration of that part into you also brings with it the reintegration of whatever that part learned while they were dissociated in source energy.
Yeah, that's right. You were
Do you remember us
about
talking
that.
about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Well, I just think like the concept and idea is, it made so much sense to me because it was like, we have a long history of dissociation in order to survive things in childhood, as well as just like experiences in childhood where you're, I mean, how many times did you have like dreams or, you know, we have a reflection of it today to see it as astral traveling or out of body experiences. And as a child, I felt like that was happening. I feel like that was happening a lot.
Yeah, I was getting lessons in my dreams.
Yeah.
Like I have memories, so it was like a reoccurring lesson of like learning how to fly.
And wouldn't it make sense that those lessons that you were getting in your dreams as a kid, you would also get them during dissociation because you're going to the same spot in a sense.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it is like where you go. Like that makes sense. Even with this one of like, I still don't, I knew I had me and I was holding me like a little baby, even though I was this like teen, you know, I was holding me like this little baby and I was like, you just so like, I got this, but I still don't have like full awareness of where I actually was yet. You know, like I know I had me. I know I went and got that. I know the me version. That's why I have like a lot of pieces are connected. But the part that just like snuggled up and was like, they still, you know, I still don't know where they exactly were. I know I had them, even though I don't, like, they weren't like, oh, you know, here we are. I tried saying that. I was like, look at the trees. I was like, you're in Tennessee. You are safe. I was giving like myself, like while I was sitting there, I was so focused on that dissociation. I was like giving the points of like, really put your body here. This is where you are. I was helping in that space. So maybe like I was thinking.
Have you ever thought about, like you were just saying a minute ago, that like when you were a kid and you used to dream and you would get lessons about flying. Do you feel like
and
that could have been lessons about how to astral travel? Where like the little kid thinks, I'm really flying and I know how to fly. Because we both had that.
Yeah, and then I would wake up or come out of it and be like, what were those movements again?
Right.
And trying to remember the movements and like, because there was like the freaking OA.
I know, just like the OA.
Oh, I saw that. I was like, oh.
I freaking love it. I love myself. I have felt like I have been traveling in my dreams more in the past year. Would like to learn more.
I know it's different, but cool to learn about different spiritual modalities.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's here's a unique thing. Like, first of all, like, go, if you haven't heard of Robert Monroe, Thomas Campbell,
The Monroe Institute.
go down that rabbit hole.
Hemisync.
That is like hemisync.
Yeah, start Googling that.
Start going down that rabbit hole, because it's not actually different, I don't think. And I started to get really like deep into that, and I was doing meditations every day. I was doing the hemisync every day, and I've taken a little bit of a break, but I was going through it every day. So I'm constantly going into that space and in and out, in and out, in and out. And when I started to do other things, it's like I can tap in super fast, because that flexed the muscle so much that other modalities that you would like go to this place, it's like so fast because I've worked it. I didn't know I was working that muscle. I thought I was just working this out of body experience, this astral travel muscle. I didn't recognize. I don't know. It seems like pretty obvious that it would be the same muscle, but I was like, no,
it's the same muscle
this
that
is
you
this
use
and
for
this is that. They are two different things.
like focus and meditation and being able to like
and energy
just
healing, and
individually focus on a thought and be present with one thing and keep things,
like open up and see. And so while you're like visualizing and experiencing and going that, so I thought it was different, but it's not. So that while it's going to connect you and it's going to be an experience, it's also connecting. It's connecting more in other modalities as well, where I feel like it's all connected. So that's a good rabbit hole. Yeah, Monroe Institute, got it.
What if when we're dreaming it's really today, and we don't have. Because it's got me thinking,
probably,
like just the whole idea around like if we're dissociated as a child, and we're surviving an experience, but we're receiving information during that time period, and then we reintegrate that part and we get that information. The same thing, like what happens when we fall asleep but we don't remember the dream? Maybe we're just getting information that eventually gets integrated back into us. Like there's so much that's taking place.
There's times when you have a dream and you don't remember your dream, but you know it was significant. You're still feeling and experiencing a body reaction. You're like, what was that? Why can't I remember? Because something happened. I've got something.
Let's see, Ali Gishtar Goddess, have you ever realized that you traveled instantly and created a different outcome, seeing all possible outcomes and choosing your preference? Interesting. I don't know if I've experienced that one directly.
That would be unique.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've done that, Gishtar Goddess? That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Traveled instantly and created a different outcome.
Man,
so cool.
Yes.
Well, we definitely believe that we're creating our realities.
Wow.
Like creating them all the time.
I had one experience, but it wasn't that. This is the semi hit me.
A semi hit me.
Oh, a semi hit you.
Yeah,
oh,
not a semi.
I was thinking hemisync. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you were able to see, oh my goodness. And then chose.
So
I
like
would
Gishtar
love
Goddess,
to hear
did
more.
you get?
Oh my goodness.
Was the decision you made or did you see that happening and then you chose a different path?
I was driving and looked over at my daughter. Oh, your baby was with you?
Wow.
Oh my goodness. That makes me want to just like tear up of how scary that would be to look over and see your baby as this is happening.
That's so spooky.
I saw us die and then
said no. I think there's.
Oh my goodness.
Like, did you describe it that way? I feel like I've had times like that before where you catch, like, I don't know if I've had a clear awareness of like an alternate timeline and then I shift and go towards it. But I've definitely had moments where it felt like, oh, something was supposed to happen. Flew the car and bent the steering wheel. This is crazy, Gishtar. This is so awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, I really think we have next to no understanding of what's really happening.
No, but I would love to talk to her more.
Even when we feel like we have a deeper
This
understanding
is
of
like
it and we put these pieces together,
right?
It's like, no, because all of these things that we're talking about, right? They totally may be this, they may be that. I think a lot of them is, again, it's the collective consciousness thing that's really been driving a lot of what I've been like processing and thinking about and going towards. And then this deeper understanding of like all the times I dissociated. That's really got me tripped out right now,
The
Lacey.
dissociation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it was like the little boy that had to dissociate to survive and then like hanging up in some spiritual council place or
Right,
with a bunch
and
of guardian learning or whatever, right?
Right.
And then as I've healed in life later on, and then all these gifts or seeming gifts, right? I don't think they're gifts. I think they're just things that we all have capacity to do and see and experience come online, maybe because that little boy got the information and the download.
See, okay.
Oh, let's see. Gishtar Goddess. A lady stopped and was in awe.
I bet.
Since then, I've had so many similar experiences.
Wow.
I now choose on intuition. Yes.
Synchronicities for sure. That's wild. That's wild. You're like, oh, I trust. I'm leaning with this. I have something that I can kind of relate, but it's nowhere near. It's like not even in the same. It's not in the same arena whatsoever, but it's something that is triggering. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Earth Family Crystals.
They're a new sponsor, and we're incredibly excited because if you're into crystals, stones, all of the cool things like we are, you've got to check this place out.
Earth Family Crystals are ethically sourced, hand-selected, and carry a deep energetic resonance.
From beginner favorites to ultra-rare museum pieces, Earth Family Crystals has something no matter what path you're on.
We're talking moldavite, Herkimer diamonds, and even the super rare rainbow lattice.
One of the things that sets Earth Family Crystals apart from other distributors is they offer one-on-one activation sessions via Zoom.
So you can connect with your crystal and set clear intentions on what it's here to support.
And if you're investing in one of their high-end luxury pieces, they offer a 90-day mentorship program to help you integrate the stone's energy into your life.
It's more than buying crystals. It's a sacred partnership with the mineral world.
So whether you're brand new on your crystal journey or you have an entire house full like we do,
click on the link in the description below and enter code Steph and Craig to save 10% on your order.
Earth Family Crystals, ethically sourced and energetically aligned. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Heritage Still.
Craig's the chef. I provide the entertainment and sometimes snacks. Still, I know a good set of pans when I see one, and these are it.
A few years back, we ditched all of our old non-stick toxic pans with Heritage Still's high-grade cookware, and we haven't looked back since.
No weird coatings, no chemicals, just clean, solid cookware that's built to last. And they're handcrafted right here in Tennessee.
The nice thing about all of Heritage Still's cookware is you don't have to baby it. It's safe to be used on any cooktop. You can also put it directly into the stove. And every piece of Heritage Still comes with a lifetime warranty.
Heritage Still cookware features 5-ply construction for even heating and incredible control. So whether you're just boiling water
or preparing a full-on feast,
Heritage Still is the way to go.
Right now, listeners of the podcast can save 10% on anything at Heritage Still. Head over to heritagestill.us/Steph and Craig and be sure to use that promo code Steph and Craig to get that 10% off.
Heritage Still, cookware that's non-toxic, built to last, and actually makes you want to cook. It's triggering, just like a hint. It's like a flavor of that, but not at all what that is.
Sure.
And it's one of the things that I haven't had it happen in a while, but it used to happen frequent. I would be driving, whether with kids, with myself, and I would get an inclination that I was just in a car wreck. But I was still like moving forward. And the thing that was in my head that came through was like, don't look in the mirror. Like don't look in the rearview mirror. Keep going forward. And it's like this reality we were continuing on. But if I looked in the rearview mirror and I would see the wreckage, I would see it. And then that's where the reality that I would be stuck in. And I was like, real or not, crazy or not, I'm looking forward. And so that's like something that I've experienced in that, like same thing. You just stopped it sooner than I did. Whoa.
I was going to say, it sure sounds like that's what you did.
I wonder if that's why I'm like tearing up when you're talking about it.
It's so freaking cool.
Dang,
it really makes you think, I feel like there's so much that's happening right now too in the world. And part of me thinks it's because we look for these things. It's that whole thing, confirmation bias. But at the same time, like that's just science's way of explaining what naturally happens, right? But so much stuff is happening right now.
Yeah.
And so many people are like connecting the dots of like, oh, reality is far greater than we think it is. Isn't it powerful to know you're powerful? 100% Gishtar Goddess. I love that.
That's like, I'm taking that into account of like what I'm feeling right now is at the beginning. I'm not sure if you were in here. I'm like, man, I'm kind of feeling something right now. I'm experiencing some intensity right now. And I'm feeling like,
Feeling what?
Powerful. I'm feeling like, well, instead of like looking for the comfort, I choose to be like, I'm just going to change this. I'm just going to make sure things go the way that I want it to go. Why not?
That's what I've been
Why
doing.
not?
Do you remember my phrase that came to me like 2 weeks ago?
What was it?
It was, I've got nothing. I have no problems to fix, only problems to create.
And so like not going to create them then.
Right.
Right.
I'm creating an existence and a reality where I have problems.
Quantum physics outlines it as a law. We have the power to alter.
Yeah, Gishtar, I don't even think it's the power to alter. I think we're constantly creating all of it. I think it's not something that's just happening that we're able to kind of like alter code or shift timelines. I think we're quite literally creating it, our individual selves every single moment, every single day, all the time, nonstop. Constant creation of reality, constant creation of reality, projected through the experience of our past as well as our programming. And then that's the reality that we create and exist in.
I've got a new rabbit hole.
What is it?
I'm just looking through where quantum physics is outlining this as a law, and we can create a different outcome.
Yeah.
I had with the meditation recently, I had like a quantum leap experience. Just like, I don't know if you remember the show Quantum Leap.
I 100% remember
Well, I know
that
you
show.
do. I know you do, but people are listening. And I had an experience of that
loved
in the
that
meditation. It was like I was in an astral travel, and I saw the like, whoom, the going to places. But instead of just seeing other places, I was going to other like people, other existences. And as I would travel, I would go into them. Like at some of them, I was multiple people at once in a space. And another one, I was like that person that was experiencing. There was one, like I was on Mount Everest at one point.
Hold on a minute.
And
you had a dream or?
No. This was in meditation.
Okay.
Do you not? I talked to you about it. Do you not have any?
Well, we talk about so many things. We do talk about, in so many different ways, so keep going.
So I was in this space and I was seeing you know how you start to travel, you start to go, the scene changes and it looks like you're flying over something. I was having that experience, but instead of just like continuing to fly or going to some place, I was going to people, but as them. So it was like I was astral traveling, but like quantum jumping is like the quantum leap thing is the best way to describe it. Because as I was going, I would all of a sudden be in this experience, this person and this person. And one of them was multiple people at once. They were all in this room together. And I was like, the way that, because how your brain tries to justify what you're experiencing when it doesn't make sense, because we're having these spiritual experiences, these energetic experiences, and you know our brains are still firing neurons, trying to process, trying to like make sense based off the information that it has. So it's like, I'm gonna try and make this sense. So how I would see it is, and I knew that it wasn't just, it was like this duality of where I could see I was experiencing what they were experiencing. I could feel what they were feeling. I could see what they were seeing, but my awareness was still here. And so the way that I saw them was with my face. So it was like I could see like all these versions of me that were in the room. And then I was feeling what they were feeling and seeing. And so then like the Mount Everest, it was like all of a sudden it was like shh, and then it was like in the body, and I could have feeling of myself as I was trying to figure out where I was putting my hands, where I was, and who knows, maybe it wasn't Mount Everest, but it sure, it felt like it, that's what I had the thing. And then it would like other places. So I've
got some questions.
No, that's okay. So there was multiple. So I was going, but it was going from experience from like person. And it was really like, I already have the belief that we're all connected, but all of a sudden it was like, oh, we're all connected. Like I was this person and this person and this person. And that means that this person who's experiencing this can experience their world through me and through you and through you and through like, because we're all connected. And I've seen this with threads. I've seen this with light weaving. I've seen this in the space, but I hadn't seen it from like freaking quantum leap perspective, I was like, I saw this show on TV. I didn't think it was, it was just such an experience that opened up so much more. And it kept going beyond that to consciousness itself. And then what is observing consciousness? And that's where my brain was like, we can't process anymore. Come out. We can't do this. I was like, that's all this brain can handle.
It's enough information for one day.
I came out and was like, whoa.
I think you were remote viewing. What do you think? Do you think you were remote viewing?
I can see remote, but it was more than viewing. I was
Experiencing it fully.
I was experiencing. I was witnessing and experiencing at the same time.
Talking about the show on Netflix. Are you talking about Sense8? We liked that one a lot.
Oh, we've seen that. You see, as I fall asleep, I fall through different lifetimes, understanding the situations and feeling there. Wow. Or am I in the moment situations? There was a show on Netflix about it.
Yeah, was it Sense8 or was it the OA? I think it's Sense8.
I fall through different lifetimes,
Sense8.
yeah. Understanding. But it was like, because it's like Sense8 is like a group of people. But it was more than a group, even though there was like a room with a group of us. It was everybody. I didn't like go into every reality, every experience, every person, everything. I didn't have that, but I had enough to, like, I understood what it was showing me, which is that we are all. It wasn't just like, oh, you're special and
you're part of this
fly
group or
around
whatever.
and go, you know, it was like we all are there. We all are connected. We all are experiencing. It's the only that was possible is because we are all connected in this space. It was a very, I don't know. So yes, remote viewing and experiencing and witnessing from also having my perspective of the experience while I was experiencing it from this perspective. You know, it was just wild. Only this perspective wasn't like, hi, what are you doing here? You know, it didn't have awareness of me, but I had awareness of both. Like, it's so hard to explain. It sounds bizarre, but
do you feel like you've ever remote viewed before?
I think so. But I don't know. Let's say, how would I explain it? We were talking yesterday about, you're just asking questions. I feel like I'm just talking.
It's a conversation. It's okay.
I feel like, okay. So yes, in a sense, I don't actually know. What I do think I do and I've seen is when I'm connected with somebody, either through like, and they're talking to me about something, they're sharing something, the way that they're seeing it when they're talking, I think I can see it that way. And I haven't had full awareness of this for a long time. I just thought, like, I have a vivid imagination and they're explaining it well. And then it was like, man, it feels like my memory. How weird is that? How is you talking to me? How can I see it like it's my memory? And then as we're learning more, I'm like, okay, so I don't think that's remote viewing though.
I think that's telepathy.
But, you know, so I've had that. The closest I think I've had to actual remote viewing is remote hearing.
That's pretty big, though.
I've had remote hearing.
That's being in the space.
I had that recently,
stuff.
and I was like,
right?
Yeah. And so, yeah. But, like, I don't think somebody can be in the other room and be like, what am I looking at? I don't know.
That's a thing.
I know. Oh, I know it's a thing. I don't.
You don't think you have that
Not
one?
me.
You don't have that dialed in quite yet?
I believe in that.
We'll
I
wait till next
cannot
week's episode.
access that.
Next week's episode,
That's
you'll
what
have
I
it
meant.
down.
I wasn't like poo-pooing it. I was just saying I cannot do in it.
Yeah.
There's a difference. How about you?
I know I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
It was the big experience that I had at the ending of the year last year.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about it?
I don't because it's...
Come on, it's a podcast. I'm just kidding. Because
No.
you encouraged me to share so much. You don't have to share anything you don't want to.
No, it was remote viewing a friend of ours, people that we know. And I'm not interested in sharing that. But it's definitely something that I'm going to start. Like, there's all of these things that we've been learning a lot about lately that I want to keep practicing and experimenting with. And you know that gal that we like, the solar glow meditations? I think that's her username. She does the dowsing rods.
Oh, yes.
Asks the questions.
Yeah.
I saw her the other day. She got some cards out and she had like a handful of cards. I don't know how many, but like an equal number of black cards and red cards, and then put on her eye mask and was able to sort the cards. So she mixes them up. and then sorts the cards into the proper
That's
color.
so cool.
With her
With her
blindfold
dowsing
on.
rods?
No, with her
but just, she
blindfold
could
on.
just feel it
She
and
just
see
sits
it.
there. Yeah.
Because you know what? She also went to the Monroe Institute and was learning how to do it, but she did it at the Institute, not just like listening to stuff she's finding around.
Yeah, have you all heard of her before? Solar Glow Meditations?
Yeah. And so now she's sorting cards with a blindfold on. Man.
There's so much cool stuff like
How
this.
cool.
That's
How do we
happening.
all go to the Monroe Institute? How do we go? How do we go? I want to go to the Monroe Institute.
Let us know if you can connect with any of this in the chat. Feel free to subscribe to us as well. Anywhere that you listen to podcasts, you can find this podcast.
6:23. We gotta go.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
We got to wrap up.
okay.
But this has been really
I
fun.
told you I was gonna talk the whole time.
You talked.
I talked
an
the whole
equal
time.
amount of time.
No,
Thank you so
the
much,
whole
Gishtar
time.
Goddess. This
Thank
is
you
what
for
we
joining
do.
and
We
talking to
record our
us and sharing your
podcast.
experience.
Sorry, we're talking
Sorry.
over each other. I'm talking over you.
I'm sorry.
We record the podcast live here on TikTok, and then this episode will be out next week. So you can go and watch it anywhere, listen to it anywhere that you find podcasts. Also, if you're a fan of the podcast and you like this, please come back and hang out with us, and you can interact. And we're figuring out this along the way because we're this is a new thing for us. We're exploring this space even more so and sharing it here and being able to engage and interact and hopefully bring people into the box in here on TikTok so that they can even join in on the conversation. So it's not Sun Glow Lady. It's
Can you find it?
Sun Glow. No, hold on. Glow Meditations, Sun Spirit Glow Meditations.
Would love a good chit chat and chewing bubblegum convo. Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called.
I'm gonna do my best. Keep talking.
Solar Glow.
Solar Glow. I
Solar
will.
Glow.
I will look
There
it
we
up.
go. I love myself. Found it. Solar Glow Meditations.
You rock.
Yeah. Share the podcast with anybody as well. And then we've got a bunch of podcast sponsors. You'll hear these throughout the episode. They're all companies that we really resonate and connect with. And so if you support those, it helps support us and support the podcast and everything else. And thank you so much,
Casey.
everybody.
We're just jumping off, but hey, girl. Okay.
Yeah. And we'll
Until
see
next
everybody
time.
soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
We got a wild ride. Wait and see, you and me. We were meant to be.
Thanks for listening to The Steph Craig Show. There's new episodes of The Steph Craig Show every week. And if you're resonating with our podcast, please take a moment to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with somebody. And be sure to check out some of these clips as well. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you all next week.